Hey there, Sagittarius. So this is your forecast for the next 2 weeks, taking you from the 12th of May. That is the full moon in Scorpio, right the way through to the new moon in Gemini on the 27th of May. Now, this is an interesting time. We've got some big movements, some big changes. In particular, Saturn is changing signs from Pisces into Aries on the 25th. But these two moons are like bookends at the ends of like the beginning and ending of this particular period. They both have a really strong Uranus theme. So the full moon is in opposition to Uranus and the new moon is in a conjunction to Uranus. So what is coming up for me as I think about that is we are coming into times of surprise, surprising new information, lots of spontaneity, downloads, excitement, a feeling of wanting to be sovereign, a feeling of needing freedom, our own authority. I think Saturn going into Aries is really going to create a feeling that we're birthing our own sovereign reality. And so there is this, as I look at this, I'm thinking, who are you becoming? And I say that quite decidedly, because I am a Sagittarius myself. Who are you becoming? How are you internalizing the change that's going on around us in the world? And also, what do you make of that? Like, how are you changing at an internal level? And how are you breaking the hold that authority has on you? How are you becoming your own authority? So this, I think, is about your authority, your freedom, your authenticity, and the deepest of surprises. So let's move into that. If you're new to this channel, my name's Louisa Munson. Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining me. Feel Good Astrology is my place where I like to use astrology to create a sense of optimism, hope, and excitement. I don't like forecasts that are going to damn you and put you into a tight little box. That's not how I practice. So hopefully you'll find this uplifting and enjoyable. If you've been here before and you've come back, welcome back. Thanks for joining me once again. I love that. Thank you. So where should we start? Now, let me start by bringing on my slides. I always work from slides. And if you normally look at these forecasts, I often start with the energy update from full moon to new moon and explain what it means, and also look at the particular like stepping stones, the big aspects that are going on in each of these days during this forecast period. Now, I've had some feedback from people. Lots of people that watch this are really, really good astrologers already. So what I've done is I've looked at these two slides separately in one big video. So if you want that, check out the link below or after this show, and you can go straight there. It's more generic, but also I think is really dealing with a lot of the deep astrology. So you might find that helpful. Anyway, in this particular forecast, I'm going to look at 3 particular charts from your perspective as a Sagittarius. Now, I should say this is really good for people with Sagittarius rising or also Sagittarius sun. So, if you've got a sun in a different sign or an ascendant in a different sign, don't forget to check that one out. You'll probably find that useful. So I'm going to look at the following charts, the one for the full moon, the one for like midway through at the halfway point, and then the new moon in Gemini one. And hopefully we'll take it from there. Before I bring up these charts, I just want to put out a quick shout out to everybody that supports this channel in all the different varieties of ways that you do. Thank you so much. Some of you are historical supporters, some of you are current ones. Thank you. This channel will be very, very different without you. I really, really appreciate you. So thanks so much. Anyway, let's have a look at those charts now. So Sagittarius, this full moon in Scorpio is here. It's showing up in one of the most private parts of your chart. It is showing up in a place of like secrets, the unconscious mind, in a place of your insecurities and fears, but also in a place of your imagination and intuition. Now, the full moon itself, that big full moon illuminated energy, it is going to be shining a light on what's going on inside your head. And so, one of my biggest recommendations right now is to chill out at the time of the full moon. Make some space for yourself to maybe pamper yourself, have a beautiful salt bath or something like that. Salt baths, Epsom salt baths are brilliant at the time of the full moon, by the way, to help you get rid of any swelling or puffing or whatever's going on, because a lot of us do fill out around the time of the full moon. But do something to look after yourself, nurture yourself, so that you are coming from an empty, not from an empty cup, but coming from a full cup, where you've filled yourself up. That's the big advice, I think. If you're somebody who channels or uses intuitive skills, then this could be a really strong full moon for you to do some extra work, for you to get some extra insights, or to go into the kind of state that you would go into to be able to write or create. This is a really private place. You might not feel like going out or partying. Most likely you'll feel like withdrawing a little bit and taking a little bit of time to yourself. So that seems like quite a good step to take, because the full moon here is really highlighting this place where our stories are coming to drop away. And the sun and sun and Uranus in opposition, they're in a part of your chart that is absolutely about how you're creating stronger stories about yourself. So on the one hand, there's this need for a revolution in your own life, for innovation, a sense of inventiveness, a sense of like gaining new experiences and taking yourself off into a new place. And yet at the other side of your life, it feels like there's a need to just kind of let go of all those stories. So it's like, which one are you going to serve? Are you going to be serving that sort of monkey mind that's trying to get you involved in all these different things, activities, and like taking your attention here, there, and everywhere? Or are you going to focus on the dissolution of the stories? And I think at the full moon, most likely you're going to be in a place of realizing that there is a certain amount of meaninglessness that comes up in life, that there is this invitation to let go of the stories, the judgments that you have about yourself, and to completely let them go. In fact, I say let go as if you have much choice. I always think we have choice, but around the time of the full moon, it's not so much that we're letting go, but more that we realize that everything is happening, and also that the way we do our life has kind of caused a certain amount of awareness in us. We often find at times when we need to let go of things, at time of the full moon, it's like, okay, I caused that for myself. I can see the consequence of it. So you're seeing the consequence of your stories, I guess, is a better way of putting it. Now, as we go through this particular forecast, you'll see the sun and Uranus now have Mercury and the moon in between them. So if I go back, you'll see that this journey is basically the moon coming around this part of the chart. To this point where it's at for the full moon, for the new moon. Now, this part of the chart I really see as being a place where we are actively evolving. When the moon comes into the sign of Sagittarius, your own sign, this is a time when you're kind of rebirthing your emotions, your psyche. There's this new impulse, this new I guess needs come up a lot with the moon. So you're needing more, possibly needing a bit more support. And as the moon comes into Capricorn, you might be considering the resources that you've got, a bit like a child being born and then growing and recognizing the needs of, the resources around them, getting into their own community and realizing that they can communicate. So, what I see in this week ahead is that you're kind of from the 13th, when the moon goes into Sagittarius, it's like, okay, here I am. What do I need for this journey? And then from the 15th, it's like, okay, so I need to get this, and this. And so you're starting, this is the start of a journey of growth, and from the 18th, you're starting to talk about what you're doing and starting to share it. So to me, the first few days, from the 12th to the 18th, well, the first 6 days is spent, with you saying, okay, here I am. This is where I'm going. What do I need to do? But it's quite a private affair. It's not really out there. You haven't really shared it. You're not really out in the world. To me, it feels like you're a magician in some kind of secret place, gathering your ingredients together and sort of deciding on what your vision is. So this is, I think, quite a quiet but hard at work and sort of like tightly focused energy. I think this is quite helpful. Now, in particular, around the time of the 18th, the moon is going to come into a conjunction with Pluto. And if I just go back to this chart here, this is a chart from the 20th, but on the 18th, the moon comes into a conjunction with Pluto in the 3rd house. And this is a really important day. On that day, Mercury is also in a square with Mars from the 6th house to the 9th house. So I'll talk about that in a sec. But Pluto and the moon coming together is really showing your need to get out there, but also showing where you might have fears about the community that you're in and about how you can stay powerful in your own right. To me, as you're around the 18th, it feels like something that you're doing out in the open, where you're sharing some of your ideas, maybe, when you're going about your day, meeting people, for coffees and stuff like that, or having lunch with people. I mean, it's quite a social place between the 18th and the 20th. It's a very sort of social part of your chart, but the moon coming into a conjunction with Pluto is really showing where you're intense in your feelings, feeling sort of intensely stirred, suddenly intensely really proud or slightly fearful, whatever it is, there is something coming up that is strong and you're likely to have a reaction from. At the same time, with the Mars and Mercury square, to me, it feels like in your busyness, there is a need to cut free, a need to feel like you can get a sense of like not being in the conventions. Like Pluto here in the 3rd house is really showing you where the conventions of the people in your community are feeling a little bit oppressive. And how can you have some control in your life? How can you feel like you're not being pushed upon by your community? So when the moon comes here, I really feel like you're really wanting to get out into a new way of being, not to feel like pushed upon, not to feel like you are imposed upon, I think is the word. Mars here is really showing that you are on a bit of an adventure. Mars is showing that it's time to explore the new and to get excited about things. So as I start to piece this together now, like from the full moon, it feels like you're collapsing your current stories about yourself. You're collapsing it and coming into a new sense of identity. And you're starting to plan how you can have this new identity to avoid some of the pitfalls you're seeing here in the local environment. And, in terms of where you belong. Now, on the 20th, it's also another day of change because the moon heads into the sign of Pisces. It's midway now from the full moon position to the new moon position. So the moon is in quite a interesting position. It's time to sort of change tack a little bit, and time to this is the last part of the waning moon phase. This is a time when you're meant to not be so externalized, and you're meant to go into your intuition a lot more. So this moon coming into Pisces is coming into one of the most grounded parts of your chart, your home. It's also a place where you might want a bit more comfort. You might want to be around the people that you love the most. And also at that time, the sun is coming into the 7th house, which is really highlighting your need for partnership. So I think the 20th is really showing a shift. The first part of this forecast from the 12th to the 19th, you're kind of working on things and really wanting to get things done in your own way, possibly feeling challenged by people around you in the community and needing to speak up and feel like you can escape. But from the 20th, boy, oh boy, there's this feeling of, okay, I need a bit more privacy again, and I need to just be around the people that I love and I trust and that I deeply know. Now, there's this ongoing trine between Venus and Mars. It's going from the 5th house to the 9th house. Now, these are two really quite expressed houses for you. You are a Sagittarius, or you've got that Sagittarian energy, that fire energy. And Venus right now in Aries and Mars in Leo, is this trine is really, really lovely. It's showing you that when you're really in your passion, really following what like you feel at your core, that it's creating freedom for yourself. And so I really think you see that. So I think from the 20th, when you have that little bit of a break and catch in with only your nearest and dearest, and that you feel safe and secure, I think it's that safety that allows you to trust in yourself and to really hear your passion talking, like really hear what's going on inside. So this is lovely. This is really saying, talking to you about the great adventure of life and how you want to experience it. For you, I think it's about your life getting bigger and feeling a lot more expanded. Then as we're coming towards the 25th, actually the 24th is an important day as well. On that day, the moon is going into the sign of Taurus. Now, this is quite a hard-working place for you. So the 24th, let me just tell you what day that is. I think that is Saturday the 24th. On Saturday, the 24th, Mercury makes an exact conjunction with Uranus. Now, this is right at the end of the 6th house. To me, it feels like anywhere where you've been too regimented in your organization, it's time to speed things up a bit, have a sense of surprise, have a sense of spontaneity, and to be really, really open to some new nuggets coming in about how you can experience your life in a much more magical way. So, I mean, this part of the chart is really one where we focus on our well-being, our overall well-being, our health, our diet, our our finances. Are we respectful? Are we always helping ourselves, or are we kind of living in our own mess, in our own filth? So this is quite a surprising day. So if you're kind of under the weather or really in a messy place, the Mercury and Uranus coming together could give you a really sharp and quick look at what you need to do to change it around. But if you're looking for a particular bit of inspiration, it's a really, really great day. Now, in terms of your work, and I will talk about this in the membership forecast, but in terms of work, this could actually solve a problem for you. So if there's an ongoing problem and you just can't quite take it to the next step, like there's something missing, this particular day is going to be a stunner for that. It's really going to be helpful. And so you've got this very ingenious and open and spontaneous mindset going on around the 24th. And then on the 25th, Saturn changes from being in the 4th house and into the 5th, going from Pisces and into Aries. Now, I think this is a welcome change for sure. And, I will hand on heart say I've had Saturn going through my 4th house for quite some time. I'm really looking forward to when Saturn shifts over into the next one. But this is actually going to help you create a more solid offering. It's going to help you to create something whereby your passions and your flair for life, the joy that you have in life, like Saturn coming in here could help you capitalize on it, make the most of it, help you replicate it, help you share it, help you stabilize it. Overall, I think Saturn coming into this part of the chart is here to I think offer you a bit of grandfatherly advice, offer you a bit of wisdom, offer you something that is allowing something to materialize. Often in this part of the chart, which is, for you, a fiery Aries energy, you dive into things, you move through things really, really fast, and you don't really review, you don't really take the time to work out how it's going and what you need to tailor or change. Saturn coming in here is going to bring an element of measurement and an element of discernment. Now, this might feel a little bit odd at first, but I think it's actually going to help you. It's going to help you to focus on the things that really are lifting you up so that you can let go of the things that really aren't. You'll really get the answer on it, I think. So it's an interesting time. There is this very sharp, acute mentality and also a desire to straighten up your act in terms of what you're creative about. This does also have some implications on relationships with children and also with partners, but I'll be talking about that in the membership forecast. So the very next day, Mercury is heading into Gemini, and this is, I think, going to open up a lovely channel of conversation with your partner. Because to me, it feels like you've been on quite a journey throughout this time. You've been mulling over the stories you're letting go of, like you're the past identities, the ones that are behind you. You're moving into this place of, okay, who am I going to be right now? What will I need? How might that land in my community? This is a bit of a sore spot, I have to say. And then you're coming into this place of refreshing your view and your passion, so that maybe you can work more from a place of passion and organize your life so it supports your passion more. And so as we come to the new moon in Gemini, I think what's really coming about is the sharing of your vision, and this sense of togetherness, this sense that you don't have to do it on your own, that there is somebody by your side, maybe somebody that's going to partner with you, or just somebody that's going to celebrate all of the changes that you're going through. Now, this particular new moon, and I have done recorded a separate video about the new moon in particular, so it's worth watching out for that. But this new moon on the 27th, it's really exciting. You've got Uranus right at the end of this very serious and productive part of your chart, and to me, it's like these brand new ideas, these like lightning bolts of information coming in. The Mercury is helping you to feel it, to understand it, to intellectualize it, to write about it, to to fully articulate what it might mean to you, this new insight. And then it's helping you to feel it at a psyche level and an emotional level, and also at an ego and a physical level. So I really think this new moon, as it comes in, is really setting you on a new path, one where you are absolutely considering your passions and how they can enhance your life, but also that you don't have to do them on your own. And when you see this lovely lineup here, this beautiful set of trines and sextiles, they're also connected to Pluto. So whatever you're doing, whatever you're passionately involved in, this is going to impact your community. And it doesn't have to be as ouchy as it might have been around the 18th. I think you're developing a vision to create something that can really work in your community too. So many different things going on there. Really, truly, a really interesting time for you. So to take it right back to the beginning then, Sagittarius, I guess what I really want to share with you is this idea that, yes, it starts with this full moon in opposition to Uranus. It's getting your intuition really, really woken up. And then it ends with this feeling of a conscious new story, one that you're not going to do on your own, but you've got somebody by your side. And to me, it feels like there's some acceptance, there's some sharing, there's a sense of belonging with your new creativity. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope that was helpful to you. Have a great 2 weeks. And if I can be of any help, then these are the ways I can help you. Just literally look below in the description field and you'll find links if you want to have a consultation with me, links if you want to join my membership and get the extra additional forecasts, and all sorts of other bits and pieces. So anyway, have a fabulous 2 weeks and catch you real soon. Bye for now.